Hello everyone. My name is Mirjana Babamova. I'm coming from the association HEMA. That is an organization for all type of hematological diseases. We are a newly formed organization, so our main activities is to raise awareness about malignant blood cancers, as well to get the best therapy, effective therapy as in Western Europe. This is Maja Kocic. She will introduce herself.
Very quickly, my personal introduction. My name is Maja Kocic. I come from Serbia. I was patient myself, diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, DLBCL subtype in 2004. I was caregiver as well because I took care of my mom who was diagnosed with lung cancer and unfortunately passed away 5 years ago. And I have been in advocacy for more than 10 years now.
So first we would like to start about the Balkan healthcare system, which is in transition. There are a lot of differences between Western Europe and Eastern Europe healthcare systems, especially the Balkan healthcare systems and non-EU countries. You can see on this map that among others, Macedonia, Kosovo, Albania, Serbia, Montenegro and Bosnia and Herzegovina are not EU countries. Bulgaria, Romania, Croatia and Slovenia are EU countries, and there is a big difference because EU countries get reimbursed and get the drugs approved from European Medical Agency, and the other Balkan countries are still in some kind of dizziness, not working, not appropriate working of the healthcare system because of not proper rule of the law. For example, in Macedonia, there is a parallel trade of drugs which are taken from Turkey, for example, or other countries. And there was last year one example of a rare disease drug that was a false drug, so patients in Macedonia are in big risk for taking drugs which are not prescribed regularly, which are not transferred regularly or not registered even in Macedonia. So that is a huge problem, and we think in the period that will be get in EU that will not be relevant anymore. Maja would say something about the difficulties between non-EU and EU countries.
Actually, Mirjana said enough, but yes, there is a lot of intra-regional distinctions, especially between non-EU and EU countries. For example, Croatia, yes, Slovenia, Bulgaria and Romania have access to EU structural fund, and they have made more progress overall, especially in modernizing their healthcare systems. Serbia, Bosnia and Montenegro have made a more moderate progress in modernizing healthcare systems, and unfortunately the smallest and poorest countries such as Macedonia and Albania have generally lagged behind the rest of the region.
So this is how Macedonian and Serbian healthcare system functions. The Medicines and Medical Devices Agency, the National Health Insurance Fund, and the Ministry of Health are responsible for all the healthcare system in Macedonia and Serbia. And usually, as Dr. Bogdanovic said, the reimbursement of therapies in Macedonia and Serbia comes with dialogue between the National Health Insurance Fund and the Ministry of Health. Still, the Medicines and Medical Device Agency in Macedonia must to approve all this. And sometimes it's a big procedure from getting the registration of the therapy till reimbursement procedure. Because in Macedonia, not every drug that is treatment that is registered, it is reimbursed. There are therapies that are for hematological malignancies that patients are waiting for maybe 4 or 5 years to be from registration to be on the reimbursement list. So there are huge and difficult problems which I hope that in future they will be solved. So this is the Macedonian healthcare system background. As you see here, the pharmaceutical sales, which are actually the sales of drugs and medical aids, are with the blue column. With the red column, it is the health spending. The health spending actually is the joint spending of government health spending and private health spending. I must mention that in Macedonia there is no register of any type of disease. So actually we don't know officially how many patients are from which disease. So it's very hard our institutions to make a prediction and to get money from the Ministry of Health and other relevant agency for the patients. We have, maybe this is strange for you because all of these days and conferences I'm listening for advanced levels of functioning of healthcare system, but that is the situation like it is in Macedonia. The first and basic thing that has to be done is to have a register for any type of disease. So in the moment, unofficially, I know that in Macedonia there is 55 to 60 patients from newly diagnosed patients from CLL, but if I want to get the data from Ministry of Health or Public Health Institute, they will not give me. So these are informations that are unofficial. Actually, the pharmaceutical sales, as you can see, are 1/3 of all type of health spending. This is the table, this is the columns also for Serbia, where pharmaceutical sales are here just 1/4 from all health spending. What are the problems with the healthcare system in the non-EU Balkan countries? One of the main problems is poor quality hospital facilities. The patients, the doctors, and the other relevant healthcare institutions are dealing all the time with the poor quality hospital facilities. Also, there are long waiting lists. For example, if you have an urgent situation or a malignant, the malignant diseases are sometimes not taken urgent in Macedonia. So you will go to the general practitioner, and after that you can wait to see the specialist about 2 or 3 months, maybe more. So that is a very big issue. And in the future, we hope there is one project in the Ministry of Health that this type of waiting list will be reorganized, so we hope that it will be better. There is a lot of old equipment in our hospitals and ambulances. So with an old equipment, the doctors are not able to work proper as they are trained to. So also there is one type of issue that in Macedonia, the Ministry of Health, for example, get a new equipment, but the doctors had not proper education to follow that equipment and to work with it, because it is too expensive for them, for clinics to send them to get education how to work with that equipment. There is a lot of migration of doctors and nurses from Macedonia, from Serbia, and other Balkan countries. In Macedonia, there is a lot of organized language schools for German, for medical language schools. So there are, in Germany, they usually need a B2 or C1 level. So a lot of Macedonian doctors are thinking to migrate and are already migrated in Germany, and they have successful careers there because they are well-trained, well-educated. And here, for example, I have had an information yesterday that a specialist pediatrician in Bulgaria gets 320 euros pay per month, which is degradation also in Macedonia. So that's why they are migrating to other countries. One of the main issues is also corruption. If you want, in Macedonia, sometimes if you want to get to a best doctor or to be a best treated, you must offer him money. So that is very real, and we are very used to that, especially in the public health sector. There are a lot of private hospitals, but the main doctors and the main specialists who are well trained are working in public health clinics. There are a few ongoing prosecutors that are running our doctors, but it depends on the court what they will decide. And the main problem is access to innovative therapy. So in Serbia, Maja can say about Serbia.
Okay, I just want to add something about issues regarding healthcare system. In Serbia, for example, about corruption, according to some study done by European Commission in 2015, the Serbian healthcare system was one of the most corrupt in Europe. For example, the average monthly bribe given by patients to doctors was around 205 euros, yes, 205 euros, in comparison with our average monthly wage, which is around 450 euros.
So in Serbia, between 2007,
yes. Okay. And Mirjana mentioned that one of the main issue in our countries actually is access to innovative treatments. And in Serbia, between 2007 and 2016, just 12 out of 220 new medicines to receive market authorization were approved for reimbursement. For example, in Bulgaria, we compared situation in Serbia with Bulgaria because our countries have very, very much similar demographic, economic data. In Bulgaria, patients have almost 8 times more innovative treatments than patients in Serbia. Why? Because, yes, we have tight budget and the money is always the biggest problem. But actually, by far the largest part of the budget of the National Health Insurance Fund in Serbia is directed to wages and monthly wages and salaries for employees in healthcare sector, and only between 17 and 18% of the budget actually is directed to medicines and medical devices, which is a really, really small percentage, and it's needed to be increased.
In comparison, in Macedonia, there has been in Macedonia, the reimbursement of innovative therapies has been blocked in the last 12 years. So we don't have any innovative therapy in Macedonia, which is reimbursed on the positive list. So all the novel therapies, except with special funds or funds that are with limited budget. So all the innovative therapy, the patients have to buy by themselves, so to pay private. So these are the columns that show how are the novel therapies for CLL, how is the novel therapies access for CLL. So in the red, you can see that those are the treatments that are not registered and with no access. With the green, you can see that the therapies that are registered and reimbursed. With the yellow, the therapies are with limited access and special budget. So this means, for example, if one therapy, if the clinic, for example, of hematology has a budget and has money to buy this treatment, then they buy this treatment, but they have money for a period of 5-6 months or maybe less, and after that the patients are staying without therapy, and some of them, if they stay without therapy, are dying. And the blue one, this is the current therapies for CLL. The blue one are therapies who are registered only and available to buy private. For example, because in Balkan countries and in Macedonia, the therapies, if pharmaceutical company registers the therapy, that doesn't mean that the therapy will be reimbursed. I know that in EU countries and in Slovenia, all the therapies that are registered automatically go on reimbursement list. And that is also a huge problem that we have to suffer with.
Yes, similar situation in Serbia. Actually, when some drug gets the regulatory approval, this regulatory approval doesn't make this drug available for our patients. If this drug is not put on the reimbursement, we call this positive list. Situation with standard therapies is much better than situation with novel therapies for CLL, but actually we have problem. More and more chemotherapy drugs are no longer available on the Serbian market because of the price disagreement between the National Health Insurance Fund and pharmaceutical companies. We know that for treating lymphoma and CLL as first-line therapy and second-line therapy, we use a lot of combinations. One component, one part of this combination actually is missing. It makes the use of this treatment practically impossible for our patients. With expectedly situation with innovative and novel treatments, much worse. But you could see on previous slide, I think ibrutinib in Serbia actually is available through so-called special access program, special access scheme. Dr. Bogdanovic mentioned something about that. And it works as follows. Actually, this is focused only on patients who have no other options. Actually, they went through first and second line therapies and it didn't work. If we have some registered drug with regulatory approval but not reimbursement approval, they can receive this drug, but only in our case with CLL and lymphoma. If 3 hematologists from particular hospital give their positive recommendation or positive opinion, this recommendation must be signed by higher authorities in hospital and approved, of course, and then hospital buys this drug for patient. After that, hospital will be reimbursed by the National Health Insurance Fund. And it works only for a limited number of patients because very tight and fixed yearly budget of hospitals. And of course, it depends on hospitals and plus very often we heard from our patients who are in need of these particular drugs. Our doctor actually suggested by higher instances and higher authorities in their hospital not mentioning this option to our patients because of saving their budgets.
So these are the steps taken to solve the problem, because as a patient organization we are trying to solve the problems with the healthcare system. So in Macedonia there is a special funding scheme. So 1 Macedonian dinar from every cigarette pack that is sold is going to a budget. With that budget, it's created a rare disease budget. This was an initiative from Life with Challenges organization for rare diseases. Also there is a conditional budget for CLL with a request from the Clinic of Hematology to the Health Insurance Fund. And also in Macedonia there was ISPOR, Macedonia Pharmacoeconomic Study, for recommendations for the Gazaiva, which led to these solutions for Gazaiva, that it is evident cost benefit, and Gazaiva increases quality of life of CLL patients. And okay.
Okay, just to finish in conclusion, actually I very briefly want to share with you what we did in 2016 together with 3 other associations, rare cancer, CML and diabetes, because there are a lot of people that suffer from diabetes. We established a citizens initiative called Initiative for Innovative Approach to Improving Access to New Medicine in Serbia, and collected a lot of money from pharma, hired some expert from abroad, not from Serbia, who created the pragmatic value assessment system, because there is no official HTA agency in Serbia. And after that we presented this to our Minister of Health, because Dr. Badanovic mentioned that many things in Serbia is up to Minister of Health. And our proposal, of course, expectedly was denied. But we turned to media, have a great media campaign, organized some conference, invited a lot of speakers, ambassadors, and so on from abroad.
Thank you.
Yes, and okay. Okay, and actually, what came out of this, our initiative, we got 23 innovative treatments on our reimbursement list at the end of 2016. Okay. So, conclusion is we need to collaborate not only within our country, but maybe across borders, and we need, of course, to collaborate with doctors if we want to improve situation.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we have no time for questions.